Welcome back to the Rutherford County GOP debates. Thank you guys so much for coming out. My name is Ross Bradley. I'm the GOP board here in Rutherford County. First of all, let me say, I was coming into this room a minute ago, and I was astounded at the number of bears that you guys brought tonight for the Juvenile Justice Center. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. The one thing we could say about the Republican Party in Rutherford County is when we ask you guys to show up, you show up every time. Thank you so much for doing that. Our community is better because of you guys, so thank you so much. I just really want to tell you a couple things about our mission. Daniel told you a minute ago, we have a table set up over there. If you're interested in being a part and joining the Rutherford County GOP, it makes events like this happen. So make sure you take some time, get a membership. Here's what we're trying to do with the local party. We're doing things a little different this year. Some of you guys have come out, met the candidates. We did it in Murfreesboro at the Boulevard. Those folks were awesome. They gave us that space. Then we turned around the next week. We went to Smyrna. We went to Champies. Folks in Smyrna turned out great. They said, folks in Smyrna aren't going to show out for that. Hey, guess what? Folks in Smyrna show out. So thank you guys so much for turning out. Tonight, we said, maybe we should do this at the headquarters. And we said, well, the headquarters only holds about 100 people. I don't know if we should do it there. Thank the Lord we didn't, because I don't know what we would have done with everybody, all right? We'd have been out, we'd had to take the whole square over tonight. So I thank you to John I. Carey for doing the Facebook Lives. I'm watching the numbers on Facebook Lives. We have thousands of views online. He's got it, I don't know. John's got probably over a dozen platforms. He's got it going live right now. So no pressure to the mayor candidates coming up, but there's a lot of eyes on you guys tonight. For those of you all that aren't able to, or that have friends that weren't able to watch it tonight, if your kids had sports or you had something going on, we're going to post it on our Rutherford County GOP YouTube channel. So we'll post it on our social media links. So if you follow the Rutherford County GOP on our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, you can see when we go post that live, share that. One of the missions that we have here in our party is we want to get the word out. We no longer want to have people say, I didn't vote because I didn't know who the candidates were. Our party has taken the time this time to put a voter guide together. So you can go online, you can go on the Rutherford County GOP website. It's rutherfordgop.org. You can see the voter guide coming up. That'll be on there. And so we want you to know, we want you to be empowered by who your candidates are, right? Educate yourself. The information is out there this year. That's the reason that we're having these debates, because we know that if we put that out there, you guys will pay attention, and we thank you for that. All right. Do we have the best moderator in Rutherford County? I don't think we could have done any better than Chris Hand. Chris, coming back up here. Nobody wants to hear me talk. You get up here and do your thing.
Well, thank you. Everybody give it up for Ross. I went and grabbed some water. I don't know if you know this, the mayoral candidate's a little bit softer than our sheriff candidates. So I want to make sure that they got some water in there. Without further ado, though, can we welcome our mayoral candidates? We have Randy Allen, Joe Carr, and Craig Harris. Come on up, guys.
That was good.
All right, guys, just to run through the rules again, the debate is to inform voters. You're going to be answering questions to me, not arguing with each other. I know, well, it's like an if you know, you know, right? I think it's if you know, you know. Opening statements, 2 minutes or less per candidate. Responses to the questions, 90 seconds. There may be a 30-second follow-up if wanted or needed. Time limits will be strictly enforced by our friend Caleb over here. Conduct and civility, speaking order, we'll do opening statements alphabetically by last name. We'll then rotate the questions randomly throughout, and then the closing statements will occur in reverse order of opening statements. Questions asked by me, answered to me. The audience, please hold your applause until the end. And all of these rules, all of the candidates were provided beforehand, and they agreed to the rules. No questions were provided before the debate. With that being said, we're going to start with opening statements, and we're going to begin with Randy Allen.
Hello, good evening. My name is Randy Allen, and I am running for Rutherford County Mayor. not for my personal interest or special interest, but for you and your grandchildren. And because our community deserves leadership built on honesty, professionalism, and accountability. I want to ensure that the people of this county can trust their government to make decisions that are fair, responsible, and focused on improving the quality of life for everyone in a transparent way. Rutherford County is growing faster than ever, and that growth brings both opportunity and responsibility. Roads are congested, schools and emergency services are stretched, and our public infrastructure must keep pace. As mayor, I will work hand in hand with local leaders, state officials, and county departments to tackle these challenges with solutions that are forward-looking, practical, and designed to benefit our residents while preserving our resources. Every day, our law enforcement officers, firefighters, and EMS personnel risk their lives to protect our community. I am committed to ensuring they have the support, training, and recognition needed to keep Rutherford County safe and thriving. Finally, I believe in careful financial stewardship. Every tax dollar is a reflection of the hard work of our residents, and I will manage these resources thoughtfully, funding essential services, planning for long-term investments, and keeping property taxes fair and reasonable. Leadership is not a title, it's a responsibility. I intend to lead with transparency, listen to the citizens of our county, and make decisions that put people first. I hope to earn your confidence and your vote to serve Rutherford County with integrity and dedication, and I'm looking forward to a civil conversation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Mr. Carr, your opening statements.
Thank you very much. My name is Joe Carr. I'm the current Rutherford County Mayor, and before I forget, I'm asking for your vote this evening. Every election is a referendum on the current office holder and or their policies. This election is no different. It's a reflection of the success and or failures of the last 3.5, 4 years. In order for a democracy to work, in particular a republic like ours, it requires choices. And inasmuch as I personally would like to run unopposed, that really doesn't work well or best for a democracy or a republic like we have. And so before we proceed any further, I want to congratulate my opponents, Commissioner Harris and Randy Allen, for giving you the opportunity to have a choice, because that choice really is what matters. Having said that, I'm running on the record that my team and I have produced for the last 3.5 years. That record includes effective balanced budgets for the last 3 years after recovering from a $64 million budgeted deficit. We have given raises to county employees 3 years in a row, a Rutherford County first. We have stopped the expansion of Middle Point landfill by building and operating a transfer station that can manage over 400,000 tons of trash a year, along with producing $1 million back in revenue. There are many other things this team has done, but this is a referendum not just on me, but on the team. And I would humbly ask for your vote in support of this team to move our county forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Carr. Commissioner Harris.
Thank you. I'm Craig Harris. I'm Rutherford County Commissioner, and I'm honored to run for this office. Look, I'm not a polished politician. My opponent has run a lot of races. He's been in a lot of debates, and he's a very eloquent speaker. I'm just a businessman. I'm an administrator. When I was 17 years old, I was homeless. I didn't know where I was going to eat or where I was going to sleep, but I wasn't going to allow that bad hand I was dealt to dictate whether I was a success or a failure. So I began my journey, and I listened. I'd go up and talk with the titans of business. I would learn everything I could, and then I started a company. And I've been CEO for over 30 years. Now this company has failed. This company has succeeded. I have steered this company through stagflation, inflation, recession, COVID, and we're as strong as we ever been. And I bring that experience and CEO type mentality to this office. I'm running because I see both the challenges and also see a great potential. And there's a lot of hardworking people in here, and they deserve a mayor that works just as hard. Look, leadership is not about politics. It's about service. It's not about paychecks. It's about showing up. It's about making tough decisions and putting people before their personal agendas. Now, I will work well with our delegation, our commission. I'm one of their leaders. And I will also work well with our school board and our constitutional officers. I also work well with our youth, the heartbeat of our community, the innovators, the dreamers, the doers. They will have part of my administration. I want to share my vision. I want to discuss my solutions. I hope I earn your trust, and I hope that I will get your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Today, we're going to begin with infrastructure and growth. I think everybody knows that it takes 35 minutes in Murfreesboro to get to Murfreesboro. So how do you balance that? How do you balance economic development with infrastructure, traffic, schools, and quality of life? Mr. Harris, we'll start with you.
Well, we're growing 700 people a month. So growth has way outdone anything we've ever expected. The best thing we can do for starting our growth is we got to have a complex plan. If we don't have a complex, Plan Rutherford, if we don't have that, we got chaos. Second thing is we have got to work on our infrastructure. You talk about traffic, and we talk about all the things that it just makes us crazy. Well, infrastructure, we got to have that before expansion. So before we build these subdivisions, we got to have our infrastructure in place. That means widening roads, and we can work with our developers, not against them. So two things about growth, you either fight it or you work with it. So roads do not end in the city limits. We had to start building roads, and we had to ask the developers also to help us build roads. We had to be able to work with them together. We got to protect our green space. And I also believe that if we are local builders, we need to use local labor and local materials and bring that money back into our economy. Thank you.
Mr. Carr, same question.
Thank you. This county of Rutherford in the last 3.5 years has taken some really great strides towards dealing with the congestion and the infrastructure as a result of growth. As the county commission knows, and there are a number of county commissioners here tonight, and thank you for being here, is we have funded the renovation of 4 high schools at a cost of $200 million. We built a new middle school at Poplar Hill. We built a new elementary school at Poplar Hill. I've told you about the transfer station out in Walter Hill. We're constructing a new forensic center, the state's 6th in Smyrna. But having said all that, we still have work to do, and a lot of that work is going to find its way into Plan Rutherford, of which many of you know about. More importantly, though, what is the county doing to deal with traffic and congestion? And I see Commissioner Phil Dodd in the background, and back there in the back, and he and I have been working on a long-range traffic program for Rutherford County. Currently, Rutherford County does not build new roads. We do not. We maintained our road infrastructure, but we not build them. And along with Commissioner Dodd's leadership and mine, we have decided that we need to at least begin the process of evaluating whether or not the county should be involved in road building, because we do have a responsibility to deal with the congestion and the traffic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Mr. Allen, same question. How will you balance the economic development with infrastructure, traffic, schools, and quality of life? So
This is a major concern in our community. And let me just tell you, they're upset about it. The congestion, the landfill, the different things that, especially the taxes. But what we have to do is realize that all of this growth is not organic. It's not homegrown. We are being swallowed in this area by this region. It's people that are going from Coffee County to Murfreesboro. It used to be they would just shoot down the interstate, but now we've got this situation where people, there's a wreck, and so they go the back roads. They just, they're cutting through our neighborhoods. They're cutting through different things. We've got to bring better jobs to Murfreesboro, to Rutherford County. We've got to do a better job of making sure that the people who live here can work here. That'll solve some of that congestion. But and I agree with the plan Rutherford. We need a comprehensive plan to look at that long range and decide we need to be proactive, not reactive on that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. You said, I heard you say you want the jobs to stay here in Rutherford County, which kind of leads us to our next question. Is the same side of the same coin, or different side of the same coin? What will you do to keep Rutherford County attractive to businesses, but at the same time support local companies here in town?
So we've got to do a much better job of working on economic development with not only the state, but the Chamber of Commerce. Rutherford County should be playing a role in and have a seat at the table when we're talking to different companies, talking about bringing their headquarters here. I don't know how many more fast food places we need. I don't know how many, and I'll just tell you, Buc-ee's doesn't just drop 100 gas pumps on one of our exits because we've got a need for gas. There's five Wawas that have said that are coming here. What do you think that is, why do you think they're coming here? Well, they obviously need cheap labor, although I've heard Buc-ee's pays pretty good. But they know there's enough traffic to sustain them. But look at what happened with Whataburger. After In-N-Out came in, they shut that one down. So, and I just talked to a friend of mine who took a job recently and had only been there for a couple of weeks and has already lost their job because the company's moving to Mount Juliet. So we have to do a better job of being at the table and telling what's good about being here.
Commissioner Harris, what will you do to keep Rutherford County attractive to businesses while also protecting locally owned companies?
Well, one of the reasons that people like Rutherford County is because we have a high standard of schools, we have a low tax rate, and we have what I think are great people who want to make this but we also got growth, and we know that. So one of the things that I want to do is maintain our schools. I want to keep that low tax rate. Since I've been on budget, in 2020, we got a AAA rating. That means that we're very financially strong. Now, as commissioner, probably the most important thing I do is the safety of you and make sure I take care of your taxpayer money. So I want to make sure our infrastructure is strong. I want to support our local businesses. And I want to make sure that Rutherford County also finds ways of raising revenue. Mayor Carr told you about a lot of things he's building, and that's good, but that costs money. And we got to have revenue to be able to pay for those things. And right now, the only revenue we're bringing in is raising your property taxes. That's exactly what I don't want to do. My main priority is your safety. My next main priority is finding new streams of revenue. And that's what I'll do as your mayor.
Just to follow up, where would you focus in on for those new streams of revenue?
Well, since I've been here and with the help of my county commission, I brought in over $7 million of additional revenue. Now, what I want to do is I've been working 4 years on a real estate transfer fee that could bring $10 million a year recurring. I'm trying to get loans from the gambling fund interest-free. I want to optimize our fees and our charges. I want to do more grant opportunities, and I want to use AI technology to try to get waste and try to hire not as many as people and make sure that we got fraud also.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Mayor Carr, how would you balance keeping Rutherford County attractive to businesses while supporting locally owned companies?
That's a great question, and quite honestly, it's the $64 million question because, as everybody in this room knows, Rutherford County is a magnet for people all over the country and all over the world who want to come and live here. It's a wonderful problem to have. As a matter of fact, there are 94 other counties in this state that would love to have our challenges. But with those challenges come great responsibilities. So how do we raise income levels? How do we provide the services? How do we produce that infrastructure that can support the quality of life that every single one of us expect? One of the things that we have done most recently is Barrett Manufacturing. Barrett Manufacturing was purchased by a firm out of Australia, and they're going to put their headquarters here, currently under construction out there on Manchester Highway. That is a huge benefit to this county because of the number of jobs that they're going to produce, but also the quality of those jobs. But what's important about that particular situation is this. I was working with the economic development community, Paul Latour specifically, about bringing that facility here, making sure it doesn't leave our county or our state. We need to focus on those businesses that are here today and give them the incentives to stay, while at the same time recruiting those businesses from abroad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Carr. Landfill has been a big topic of conversation, both anytime we have a gathering of this size or anytime you go on the Murfreesboro Facebook page. Rutherford County relies heavily on the county's landfill for waste management. But as the county continues to grow, concerns remain about its long-term capacity, the environmental impact. If the landfill eventually reaches capacity or it has to close, what are the long-term plans for Rutherford County and how you'll manage waste? And how would you prepare the county financially and logistically for that transition? We'll start with you, Mr. Allen.
Well, as you know, that is a hot topic, and there's not been a really good answer, but I do commend Mayor Carr and Commissioner Harris on the fact that they were able to build a transfer station and start shipping our trash to Lewisburg. While that's great that Rutherford County got rid of our own trash, Murfreesboro still dumps every day there. And, also, I believe I heard Mayor Carr say at a public forum several months ago that we have now got 36 counties that are dumping inside Republic. Now, 4 years ago, when we were running for election, I think we had 29 counties, including our own, dumping there. So it is on our water supply. And as far as a long-term solution, I think every option needs to be on the table, whether it's, waste to jobs, waste to fuel, methane gas capture. I mean, everything we can do to resolve this in the best way possible for our citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Mayor Carr, your plans for the landfill.
So this was something I ran on when I first ran for office almost 4 years ago, thanks to the county commission. They saw the vision of how we could be waste independent. So today, even though Middle Point's not closed because it is a private concern, it's a private company that contracts with other counties to bring their waste here. As of today, in 2025, Rutherford County received over 1 million tons of trash at Middle Point. How much of that was Rutherford County trash? Less than 100,000 tons. Less than 10%, ladies and gentlemen, of the 1 million tons that comes to that landfill is from Rutherford County. We built the transfer station to allow Rutherford County to be solid waste independent. Its current capacity, as I said before, is 400,000 tons. We're currently bringing in about 100,000 tons a year at a profit to the county of over $1 million a year. And so the plan is for Middle Point not to just expand, but the plan is for Middle Point to close. It's time that Nashville took their trash somewhere else. I don't care where they take it, that's Nashville's problem, but they shouldn't take it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Carr. Commissioner Harris on the landfill.
Well, as far as Mayor Carr keeps talking about his transfer station, which I personally believe we built it 4 years too early. It's not making $1 million because he keeps leaving out the mortgage payment, which is $116,000 a month. Now, I have never said I was for expansion. Never. There's no video, there's nothing he has that ever said that I'm for expansion. So I can tell you all till you're blue in the face, I'm not for expansion. Some of you are going to believe me. Some of you won't. You'll just say I'm only saying that to be mayor. So let's look at that. Mayor Carr 4 years ago said he is going to close down the landfill. Obviously, he didn't do that. But Mayor Carr don't have the power to do that. Mayor Carr don't have a vote. Mayor Carr has very limited influence with the county commission. I'm a county commissioner. I have influence and I have a vote. So if I'm so focused on landfill expansion, why am I running for mayor? I'm not for landfill expansion. I am for recycling, using our county resources for networking and promoting. I am for public-private partnership, which I'd like to bring in a single stream recycler who I think is the only way that we can do recycling. And I also want a rail. Can we do this? It's going to be challenging. Can we pay for it? Yes. Okay.
Thank
Can
you,
we do it? Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. The next category is integrity, transparency, and accountability. Mr. Allen, do you support additional ethics reforms or oversight measures? If so, what specifically?
So I believe that in the current budget, we funded a auditor position, an internal auditor. We are the largest county in the state that does not have an internal audit department. That position has been funded but not posted. And I would immediately make sure that we fill that position and begin the process, not because I want to catch anybody doing wrong. It's for the fact that there may be millions of dollars potentially left on the table and you know, Michael Smith, he's doing a great job. I mean, his entire team. But the internal audit position would be something I think would lead to greater transparency, as well as, you know, I think the people in our community are really concerned about how that budget is increasing every year, and they're really not seeing a great return. I mean, yes, we need another school, we need a jail, but we need proactive planning. We need a plan to, I mean, we haven't talked about it, it's probably not on this, but you know, as far as infrastructure, there has to be a tower built at the Smyrna Airport, and we own that. We own the airport, so we're responsible. If they can't get the money, we will have to come up with the money to pay for that. So,
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Commissioner Harris, do you support additional ethics reforms or oversight measures? Specifically, which would they be?
Well, I believe integrity, transparency, and accountability are the most strongest characteristics you can have. You cannot be a leader without those. You cannot have one, you can't have two, you have to have all three. If you don't have integrity, then the people think you're lying. If you don't have transparency, then you think we're hiding something. And if you don't have accountability, that means the people think that the rules don't apply to you. Now, the first thing I did when I became a commissioner is I started a juvenile detention board. Mayor Carr is the chairman on it. That gives us transparency. I support the Public Building Authority. That is a transparency. And when I became chairman of steering, very rarely does a first-year commissioner become chairman of such an important committee of steering. And I got elected because integrity, transparency, and accountability. I tell everything I need to my committee and to the county commission. I don't hide anything. And if I do wrong, I own it. So I think that if we cannot be effective leaders if we don't have that, and I think you should demand that out of your leaders. Thank you.
Mayor Carr, same question. Do you support additional ethics reforms, oversight measures? If so, what specifically?
Yeah, I do. I think it's very, very important that we have the appropriate ethics reforms that produce the transparency from our elected officials so that you, the public, can have a modicum of trust in the decisions that they're making. Moreover, not just the decisions that are made, but more importantly, how they are made, the process by which those decisions are made. The word transparency gets thrown around a lot, especially in an election year, but especially in the last 2 or 3 years. So I decided to find out what the dictionary said about transparency. The quality of being open to public scrutiny. The quality of being open to public scrutiny. And if there's anything any elected official should hold up as a standard regardless of the elected position, whether it's a mayor, a sheriff, county clerk, trustee, doesn't make any difference. You've got to open yourself up to public scrutiny, which means you answer questions, even difficult questions, most especially the difficult questions, because that openness is going to show that you're a person of integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Carr. We're going to pause real quick for our Student Eagles question. We have Ethan Buckles here. The Student Eagles are a group that study local government, Tennessee law, and the Tennessee Constitution. Welcome, Ethan Buckles.
My question is, perfect. Students studying local government learn that the county mayor's authority and responsibilities are defined by the Tennessee law and the Tennessee Constitution. Which specific responsibilities of the mayor's office do you believe are most important?
Start with Mayor Carr.
Wow, that is a good one. I think the most important responsibility of a mayor is the team that they assemble and work with on a day-to-day basis to literally make the trains run on time. You know, we've talked about transfer station, forensic center, a number of different schools, a number of different projects. But at the end of the day, the primary responsibility of a county mayor is to make sure that we deliver the services that you require every single day. That does include trash pickup. That does include law enforcement. That does include quality education. But what undergirds every bit of that is a stable financial community. And I want to say this, Rutherford County today has got the strongest financial balance sheet of any county in the state. Moreover, we are one of 54 counties out of 3,100 nationwide with 3 AAA bond ratings. There are many states that do not have that acclaim. And so what we have, the major responsibility of the mayor, the primary responsibility of the mayor is to provide these services, keeping taxes low, while at the same time making sure it's a quality place to live, and while making sure we maintain those AAA bond ratings, which are so important to the financial health of our community. Thank you for that excellent question.
Mr. Allen.
So the thing that's the most important, and I agree with Mayor Carr, is to serve this community with integrity and to show up every day and do the work that the taxpayers expect. That means we work for you. And all of the things that you want, we should be able to address those. Not just answer questions, but actually hear your ideas, listen to your views. I think that, education, public safety, those are all things that the mayor's office can advocate for. Those are all things that we can budget for, we can help out with. But it's really the people, and I'll tell you this, kind of funny story. Some of you will remember this. Mayor Burgess told me one time, said, man, you won't believe the calls we get at the mayor's office, the things they want me to do. And I said, what do you mean? I mean, I can't imagine what. He said, well, a lady called last night and said there was a bird in her attic, and she wanted the mayor to come get it. And I was like, well, that's something I didn't know. But they're public service is a high calling. And I think that's what the county mayors should.
So duly noted, you're not here to help with birds.
That's right.
Commissioner Harris.
Get a cat.
Commissioner Harris, same question.
Yeah, I think the first priority of a mayor is to ensure our safety. Y'all seen 3 sheriffs up here, and the mayor's office will work with them and will ensure your safety. Number 2 is we got to be financially responsible. We have to keep your taxes low. We have to stop spending. We spend a lot of money, and there's a lot of things that we want, but we need to get the things we need. I think a mayor should be able to work with all departments, and I believe not have dissension and division. I believe as a team, if we work together, we can solve all the problems that we need to solve. Now, we also got to take care of the people. Your money is important. And being a commissioner, he talked about AAA rating and all that. That is because we've had some great commissioners and some great finance directors, past and present. And I'll continue to work with them. I am a CEO. I'm about raising revenues, keep your taxes low. And that's one of the things that I'm going to do. Now, I think a mayor should also be an example. He should be an example of integrity. He should be an example of transparency and accountability. He is the leader, but he's got to work with other departments. The mayor doesn't have a lot of the power that one would say. So we have to work together. We have to do the things that make us a better county.
Thank you, guys. Ethan, thank you so much. Give it up for Ethan, everybody. Getting back towards the budget, what is one area of the county you think is underfunded and you believe deserves more investment? And we'll start with you, Commissioner Harris.
Infrastructure, 100%. I think we have got to invest in our infrastructure. We had to build wider roads. We got the city of Murfreesboro doing them. We got all 3 municipalities building roads and widening them. And we had to do the same. We had to make life better and easier for our citizens. And we cannot have new subdivisions and new growth areas without infrastructure. So in my opinion, I think the one thing that we need to do, and one of the things that I want to do more than anything, is to upgrade our infrastructure and make it easier on us. Thank you.
Mayor Carr?
Yeah, the great question again. That's a challenge because we have a lot of infrastructure needs. The sheriff's department, the sheriff's candidates talked about the need for a new jail. We absolutely better have a new jail. If we don't, the federal government's going to come and build a new jail and send us the bill. And I promise you, we won't be able to build it. They'll build it for us and send a new jail and be twice as expensive than if we did it. That is an absolute necessity. At the same time, I see several school board members here. We need another high school, especially on the northwest end of the county. That goes without saying. We also need to determine if we're going to get into the road building business to release this congestion that we have all over the county. We have a number of needs, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a limited number of dollars, and it takes a mayor with a great team. And I can't tell you how important it is to have a great team, because the mayor is just a cog, is just a wheel in this machine called Rutherford County government that delivers these services. It's the directors that work with me every single day that deliver those services. And I couldn't be more proud with them and what they do. But rest assured that we have a lot of needs, especially with a lot of people coming in, but we don't have the money to suit every need at this time, so we have to prioritize. And that's what we'll continue to do. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, one thing to invest in the county.
Well, I think public safety is number one. We mentioned the jail. That's a given, and 5 years down the road, hopefully we'll have an action plan and we'll be moving toward that jail. It's a given. But I will say right this minute, this exact time, our sheriff's deputies are the state said they're in danger. What are we doing right now to help them? We should be moving, we should be talking to other counties. We should be moving people to the workhouse. I've heard all kinds of suggestions. I think public safety, we talk about ICE and all the drugs, but I've been out there riding with those deputies, and they are alone in this county at night. Sometimes there's only 2 to cover the entire county. When I asked the guy, I said, what do you do if there's something out there, something happens? Who's your backup? And he said, you are? It's like, okay. He said, sometimes we'll get a highway patrol person, a highway patrol officer will hear us on the radio and they will come. They'll be close enough they can respond, but they're out there alone. Public safety is the number one thing that we have to have, because schools, roads, all of those things that we depend on, emergency personnel, can't get to us, but we need to staff them fully.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I think a common thread that I'm hearing from your answers there is that there's limited numbers of dollars. So that kind of leads us to the next question. What do we cut? Can you give me one county program, expense, or practice you believe should be reduced, reformed, or outright eliminated? Mayor Carr, I'll start with you.
Currently, we're beginning our budget cycle. Last year's budget was $950 million in appropriations. It was a balanced budget, effectively. We will probably have a $1 billion budget this year just because our budget is defined by our revenue growth. Okay, so if we're going to spend $1 billion, it means we have to have taken in that billion first. And so the projections are between $950 and $1 billion. Of that $1 billion, 85% of it is locked in. In other words, you cannot reduce and you cannot eliminate. It's state required. As an example, the schools are about 75% of that entire budget. State law specifically says you cannot reduce their maintenance of funding. County commissioners know that, and that makes it very difficult for us to move forward on some of these other competitive projects. When I first came into office, I referenced the $64 million deficit. The first thing we did, along with Michael Smith's help back there in our first budget, was we cut $25 million out of the budget, but it left $39 million that wasn't properly funded. And we're not going to spend money we don't have. That is not just irresponsible, that is unethical. And so as we move forward, we will always look at making government the most efficient it can be by providing the quality services that you require at the best property for our property taxpayers. Thank you.
Is there specifically one thing, Mayor Carr, that you could see us cutting?
No. Having said that, and it's a really an honest question, having said that, if you or anybody else has a real idea about what we can reduce or eliminate that doesn't adversely impact the service that requires, I really want to hear it. But I'm telling you, our finance director, Michael Smith, is as a finance hawk, and he does an outstanding job of bringing those issues to the mayor and the mayor's office and the team so that we can make the proper reductions if appropriate.
Mr. Allen, same question. Is there an area in our budget, a program, an expense, a practice you believe could be reformed, eliminated, or reduced?
Well, as an outsider, I don't really want to reduce anything. I mean, we all need the services that are provided. I think the thing that I have found in looking at budgets across many organizations is that the best thing to do is to sit down with the department head and go through that, ask them, what is a real need in this budget and what is a want? Is there anything you could give up? And then go back and try to resolve some of that. I don't think there's people in this community that think they don't get enough from the government. I think that they are concerned about how much they pay into the government for the services they receive. I don't think that, we're going to be able to reduce the number of schools we need. But I will say this, I know that when you apply fiscal management, when you look at budgets with a forensic eye, you find places where you might be able to let some go, and the auditor, that might bring millions of dollars. We might have left them on the table, so be interesting to see. Thank you.
Mr. Harris, same question.
Emotional spending. We have got to stop emotional spending. Mayor Carr said we had a $64 million deficit. He is correct. But then he spent $52 million. Did we need a forensic center? Yeah, but not now. Do we need a transfer station? We will, but not now. $20 million it's built 4 years too early. In the Bank of America, we're paying $16 million for a 1972 building. $8 million for the building, $8 million renovation. Got to control emotional spending. You've got to have revenue to be able to spend. And that's what we don't have. I do not want to raise your property tax. Nobody wants to do that. But if we continue to spend it, that's the only option we're going to have, unless we bring in additional revenue streams, which is exactly what I'm going to do as mayor. So I want to focus on that and stop this emotional spending, because there's things we want, there's things we need, and there's things we can afford.
The growth is exploding. We've all talked about that. We understand the infrastructure needs. If infrastructure can't keep up with the growth in Rutherford County, would any of you support temporarily slowing or pausing certain types of development with a growth moratorium. Why or why not? Mr. Harris, I'll start with you.
No, I don't believe in the moratorium at all. I think we can have strategic growth, and we can do that by planning. I think, like I said before, you can either fight growth or you can work with it, and I think we need to work with it. And I believe that if we stop growth 100%, we're going to be like Cannon County. And we're not going to be able to have the things that we have and keep up with the things that we need to keep up with. I do not want to see a moratorium at all. I think we just need to do strategic growth.
Mayor Carr, same question.
Moratorium, draconian answer to a problem that we can manage, especially with the passage of Plan Rutherford. Plan Rutherford gives us a blueprint, a plan to move forward in how we want to manage the growth. It's just not how we want to manage the growth, but how do we want to manage what this community looks like. That is done through growth. You better be very careful about putting your foot on the brake of growth, because there are a lot of business interests in here, and they can tell you firsthand that when you put your foot on the brake, putting your foot back on the gas at a later date doesn't happen so quickly. And so you be very careful. And so while I embrace Plan Rutherford, it needs to be incremental so we don't kill the engine that's fueling the property taxes, the funding that keeps us from raising property taxes in this county.
Mr. Allen?
I agree. I mean, we can't put a moratorium on it. I would encourage, like I mentioned earlier, we're being swallowed by regional growth. The traffic and all those things, you look around, it doesn't say Rutherford County on the license plate. It says Coffee, Cannon, Warren, other places. A moratorium on our growth is not going to help. What I would encourage is that in some way or fashion, we discourage multi-family building and go back to building some, single family homes. Focus on, because when you put 1,000 apartments on a street, you're going to immediately increase the traffic in that area. You're going to increase the number of kids in a school. We've changed. We've tried to adapt to what's going on. But, I was out Manchester Highway a couple of days ago. I couldn't believe the apartments going up out there. I think that's going to be difficult for us to manage. Infrastructure has a hard time keeping up, schools, but no moratorium on growth.
We'll send this question down to Commissioner Harris. What does the first 100 days of a Mayor Harris administration look like?
Fixing all the division that we got. One of the things that I want to do is make sure that we get a better relationship with the county commissioners, because right now, people, it is bad. And that's one of the things that I want to do. I think that we have to make sure we work with the school board, the constitutional officers. I want to make sure that we are with Michael Smith and we're working on our budget. We're going to make sure that we are able to start raising revenue, which is the first thing that I want to do. A mayor is a coach. He's got to be able to get his team together, and he's got to be able to have integrity and have accountability. In my first 100 days, we're going to be doing all that. But we're also going to evaluate and see what our problems are, all of them, and then we're going to address them. And I also want to meet with all the department heads, and I want to talk to them about how we can be efficient and how can I help them. What can I give you to be better? And that's one of the things that I'll do in my first 100 days.
Mayor Carr?
So the first 100 days, if I'm fortunate enough to earn your vote and be reelected, is I'll probably go on vacation, because my wife says I haven't had a vacation since I was first elected. But after a short vacation, I'm going to sit down with the directors, and I'm going to congratulate them on a great 4 years. One of the things, probably the most thing I'm proud of since I've been mayor, is that when I became mayor, I had a number of people in my ear saying, you need to bring your own team in. There are at least 6, 8, maybe a dozen directors. There are 24 directors that report to me. There are probably a dozen directors you need to get rid of, Mayor, and bring your own team in. I didn't do that. I sat back, watched, learned, listened for 90 days. And you know what I found? I found that every single director loved this county, and they loved their job. And you know what they wanted? They wanted a mayor who would give them the tools and the resources to do their job. As a result of that, I have been fortunate to work with a group of people that I have not asked for the termination or the resignation of a single county employee since I've been here. I think that's amazing. That's not a credit to me. That's a credit to this team called a machine that keeps this county running. Again, I'm only a small cog, but it's an important cog. But the machine is these directors that make it work every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Carr. Mr. Allen, same question. First 100 days.
And I will commend Mayor Carr on that because I think that's the greatest fear that most people have in change of leadership is that they will lose their job.
That's right.
There should be no reason for any employee to think that they would lose their job, depending whoever is elected. But I will say this, the first 100 days, we will immediately begin working on a long-term capital project plan, trying to identify things like I've already mentioned, the tower in Smyrna. Many of you know that the National Guard is relocating to the Smyrna Airport. That's going to cause a lot of stress on the infrastructure in that area. I'm going to work really closely with Shane and Mary Esther, Jason, right here on the. I think that Jason's done some phenomenal things in Laverne that could potentially help all of us. And so our state delegation, we will have a meeting immediately with them, and we will talk about what's best for Rutherford County and what we want to forward. We will set an agenda that will allow us to work closely with TDOT and the Department of Corrections, TDEC, on all of our projects that are going on. So that's first 100 days. We're going to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. Last question, and this is just a yes or a no. Property tax increase in the next 4 years under your administration. Mr. Allen, we'll start with you.
No.
Mr. Carr?
We will do the best we can. We don't know what the season looks like, but for this next budget year, no.
Mr. Harris?
For this next budget year, no. But if we don't raise the revenues and we don't find different streams, then I don't see how we're going to be able to not raise taxes with a new school at 150 million or a jail at 400 million. So we have got to find ways to pay for this. So that's what I'll be doing as your mayor.
Just to follow up with Mr. Harris and Mr. Carr, Mr. Harris, how much would you be willing to raise property taxes by to accomplish your goals as mayor?
Well, I mean, I've always been a CPI guy, Consumer Product Index. It's usually around 2.8 to 3.1. So I would probably say if I raise taxes, I'd probably be in the CPI range.
Mayor Carr?
I don't think the raising of taxes is something that we ought to try to look forward to, and I don't believe we should be, I think we should be very careful about saying yes or no. I will tell you this, right now, we have 3 years of balanced budgets. If we balance our budgets, we don't have to concern ourselves about raising property taxes. That's the truth. So that's the key. If you have physical restraint in the spending side, raising property taxes isn't an issue, and that's what we've been very successful at for the last 3 budget cycles, and we will continue that.
Well, I'd like to thank all 3 of you candidates for your time, and I'd like to give you guys each an opportunity for closing statements, and we'll be starting with Commissioner Harris.
Listen, I really appreciate being here tonight. A little nervous, played in front of thousands of people in ball, but I couldn't be this nervous. So I think y'all learned some things about me tonight. I hope I earned your trust. I hope you understand that as a mayor, I'm going to try to be a CEO. I want to try to bring the business side of it and try to protect this county the best way that I can. I promise that I will be able to work with the people in this community and be able to work with our county commissioners, our state delegation, our state leaders, our school board, our constitutional officers. I have their respect. I had the ability to bring them together and work together. And the way our government is set up in Rutherford County, the mayor's office and the county commission has to get along. And we don't have that right now. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to mend all these fences that have been broke and try to get everybody together and try to get everybody on the same playing field, which is paying for this growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Mr. Carr?
Yeah, thank you again, all of you, for coming out and having an interest in your local government. You know, local government, from a transactional standpoint, has a greater effect on your life every day than what happens at the state or at the federal level. And you showing up tonight is really a big deal for us. I also want to thank Commissioner Harris and Randy Allen for giving you a choice. I can't tell you how important that is. If for a functioning republic to work, we have to have a choice. And while it may make us uncomfortable at times, that's okay. Because the word says, as iron sharpens iron, so does man sharpen man. That's the real deal. And I think all of us want to see this community grow and prosper. I want to leave you with this. A people without vision will perish. A people with vision will flourish. The job of the mayor, along with their team, is to provide that vision. I certainly hope I've been a part of that for the 3.5 years, and I covet your vote for 4 more so we can finish what we started. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Allen.
So let me just say, folks, I know this community better than anybody up here. I've worked in it. I'm consistent, and people know they can trust my word. I've had 30 years of working across many sectors, manufacturing, hospitals, nonprofits, small business, and I know what those businesses need in workforce and in resources. I'm strategically positioned to serve our county in a unique and different way. Rutherford County has enormous opportunities moving forward, but with that comes great responsibility. You deserve a leader that listens, plans, and acts with integrity. But none of this happens without you. Your voice matters, your vote matters. It's time for us to stand together and work together to find solutions that unify our county and make us proud of our home. There will be no political games, no bullying, no drama. There will be, if you elect me, the good old boy system is over. And my mother taught me, she's sitting right back there, taught me to not make a promise I can't keep. And that is one I will keep. The good old boy is dead. So if you want to be a part of shaping a stronger, safer, and more prosperous Rutherford County, the time to act is now. Let's make it happen together. I am asking for your vote on May 5th. I'm Randy Allen, running for your Rutherford County Mayor. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I'd like to thank all 3 of you for taking part in this debate tonight. Folks, don't forget, if there was a question that we didn't get to ask that you want to ask these candidates, they will be mulling around and they'll answer your questions. Give them a round of applause for me, though. We appreciate them and we appreciate what you guys did to come here tonight. Thank you.